More genius.
Beyonce.
Gorgeous. A stab to my self-esteem.
Beyonce for sure. I love her. I love Beyonce. Jay-Z too, I really admire the both of them.
Educated gangster rapper, that's all she could come up with.
The internet is on fire right now with a rumor so wild it could flip the whole world of pop culture on its head. One shocking question is rocking the very foundation of music's most protected dynasty. And if this one is true, nothing will ever be the same again. Word on the street is that Beyoncé is devastated after court papers allegedly dropped a truth bomb nobody saw coming. The whispers? Kelly Rowland's son Titan might not be who the world thinks he is. The claims are saying he could actually be Jay-Z's biological child. If that's real, we're not just talking scandal. We're talking betrayal at the deepest level. A betrayal that could destroy ties built since childhood. This isn't just friendship. It's Destiny's Child, it's the sisterhood, it's the empire Beyoncé carefully crafted, all crumbling from one shocking twist. Imagine the cracks tearing through friendships, the music industry, and Beyoncé's polished image as the queen who always stood unshaken. This would hit her pride and her confidence like a knife to the chest. This isn't just gossip flying around the blogs. This is the kind of revelation that could rewrite 20 years of history in a single headline. Beyoncé held her man down through cheating scandals, messy confessions, and public humiliation, always showing the world that image of power and control. But the thought of her closest friend, her sister, allegedly carrying her husband's child, that's beyond messy. That's straight up earth-shattering. That's brutal. Behind closed doors, whispers say Beyoncé is losing control, watching her empire shake as court documents, meant to stay hidden forever, mysteriously leak out.
I want to ask you about Jay-Z's album.
I think it's genius. Like all of his projects, I thought it was really great.
Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
Now, screenshots and snippets are flooding the internet, fueling wild theories and feeding the frenzy by the second. People are calling Titan's parentage the family's darkest and most explosive secret ever. And whether those papers are real or fake almost doesn't matter anymore. The damage is already out there. Just the possibility has ripped straight through the heart of Beyoncé's spotless, carefully protected image. And of course, the internet wasted zero time fanning the flames. Side-by-side photos of Titan and Jay-Z are spinning across social media like wildfire. The captions? Ruthless. Folks are swearing the resemblance is impossible to deny. The jawline, the nose, even the little expressions people claim are straight-up copies of Jay-Z's old pictures. For many fans, this isn't something you can just brush off. They're flat out saying, no way this is coincidence. But not everyone's buying it. Some are pushing back, calling the whole thing wild imagination stirred up by gossip blogs. Still, that hasn't slowed the chaos one bit. The debate has gone completely viral, and if history tells us anything, once the public grabs onto a look-alike scandal, there's no putting that genie back in the bottle. And for Beyoncé, a woman who's built her entire empire on control, perfection, and a flawless image, seeing her husband's face plastered across comparison photos with her best friend's child, that's not just another rumor, that's a nightmare narrative she can't erase. She can't twist it, she can't spin it, and that's only making the chaos spiral even harder. And now fans are dragging Kelly Rowland's 2013 track Dirty Laundry back into the spotlight. When it first dropped, people praised it for its raw honesty about toxic relationships. But today, listeners are dissecting every single lyric, whispering that Kelly might have been hinting at something way darker. A secret affair, a forbidden triangle, a truth hiding right in front of us all these years. Lyrics about betrayal, manipulation, and hidden secrets are suddenly being treated like coded confessions. Fans are asking, was Kelly pouring her real pain into music the whole time, disguising it as metaphor? Did the world ignore it just because the truth sounded way too wild to believe? Even industry insiders are chiming in, reminding folks how often artists slip raw reality into their art. With Dirty Laundry back in circulation, it's starting to look like a breadcrumb trail Kelly never thought anyone would piece together until now. But the music is just one layer of this storm. The real shocker, the money trail. Rumors are flying that Jay-Z has been quietly sending payments to Kelly's family since 2014, the same year Titan was born. That detail alone has blown up the internet like gasoline on a fire.
I don't have no felonies. I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
Now the debate is raging. Were these innocent Godfather-style gestures? Or were they secret payouts meant to seal lips and bury the truth forever? The speculation is running wild, and every new clue only makes the whispers louder. The timing is just too perfect to brush off. And it's got every eyebrow in Hollywood shooting sky high. And the question haunting everyone right now? How much did Beyoncé actually know? Was she standing by Jay-Z's side completely clueless? Or was she quietly part of the silence all along? If those payments really happened, was there a cover-up going down right under her nose? For nearly a decade, Beyoncé has reigned as the ultimate symbol of power, perfection, and control. But the thought of Queen Bey getting blindsided in her own home? That's the kind of rumor that rattles people to their core because it feeds the belief that even the strongest empires can crumble from the inside. And this revelation doesn't sit alone. It drags Jay-Z's messy past right back into the spotlight. Everyone remembers the scandals, the side chicks, the public confessions. Jay even admitted to stepping out, and their marriage nearly cracked wide open. They both turned heartbreak into music, confession albums that the world dissected bar by bar. But now, if Titan really is his child, the narrative flips hard, from survival and healing to something way darker. We're talking deception that slices deeper than anyone imagined. Because this wouldn't just be about Jay betraying Beyoncé as a wife. It would mean betraying Kelly, too. The woman Beyoncé always called her sister. That's not just messy. That's the kind of betrayal you don't come back from. Now it's bigger than just a marriage on the line. Suddenly, the entire legacy of Destiny's Child feels like it's hanging by a thread. The sisterhood millions grew up idolizing, built on loyalty and unity, is now being re-examined under a whole new light. Fans who once believed every hug on stage, every smile in interviews, are questioning if those moments were just polished performances covering unbearable secrets. And the receipts people are digging up, brutal. Old interviews are resurfacing, like the infamous night Kelly left a dinner with Beyoncé and Jay-Z in tears. Back then, folks chalked it up to emotions between lifelong friends. But now, it's being spun as a crack in the facade, a moment when the pressure of secrets slipped through. Every cryptic glance, every viral red carpet clip of Kelly near Jay-Z, fans are replaying them like detectives combing for clues. Even Jay-Z's own body language is being dragged under the microscope. Remember that stunned expression when he bumped into Kelly at a premiere? Once brushed off as casual awkwardness, it's now being replayed with suspicion. Was that really warm respect? Or the shock of locking eyes with someone tied to the truth he's been desperate to bury? And then comes the cruelest twist of all.
The family out tonight is a family affair. I saw your mother-in-law so proud of.
Yeah, we support each other. That's what we do.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past, okay?
Just months ago, Kelly was on camera publicly praising Jay-Z after he slammed the Grammys for snubbing Beyoncé. She said, "Sean Carter is one of the greatest men I know, and his words ring so loud to me." At the time, it sounded like pure admiration, but today, that same quote feels like a haunting echo. Was she shielding him, covering for him, or simply trapped, loyal to her best friend while standing in the middle of an unthinkable mess? Kelly had no idea that her words of praise would one day circle back as the centerpiece of a scandal this messy. But the internet never lets coincidences slide, and now that old quote is spreading like wildfire, used as evidence to fuel theories about just how deep these bonds and betrayals really go. And if the whispers about Jay-Z funneling secret payments since Titan's birth turn out to be true, the question haunting everyone is chilling. Has Beyoncé known the whole time? Was she quietly carrying that weight, protecting her kids, her empire, and her flawless brand image, while playing perfection for the cameras? If that's the case, then she's been pulling off a performance more elaborate than any stadium tour, smiling through Betrayal while the world praised her strength. But if she didn't know, if she's only finding out now through leaked papers and internet chatter, then the picture turns even darker. That would mean Beyoncé, the woman who taught the world about power, control, and composure, just got blindsided in the most personal and humiliating way imaginable. Either way, the silence from everyone involved is making the tension thicker by the day. Fans are restless, desperate for answers, and the speculation refuses to die down. And what about Destiny's Child? If this rumor sticks, their legendary image as sisters against the world is already cracking. Beyoncé, Kelly, and Michelle built a brand on loyalty that survived chart wars, solo careers, and industry politics. But could it all unravel under the weight of this one rumor? If Jay-Z is really tied to Titan, the nostalgia will never hit the same again. For fans who grew up idolizing Destiny's Child as flawless role models, this is a brutal reality check. People are asking if it was ever the fairy tale it looked like, or if it was just a glossy cover hiding chaos behind the curtain. And for Beyoncé, this goes way beyond music now. This is about her crown, her marriage, her motherhood, her entire legacy. The empire she built on loyalty and power now faces whispers that feel way too heavy, too messy, and far too big to bury. Step back from the chaos of Titan's rumored paternity, and an even darker pattern starts to come into focus. Because let's be real, Jay-Z has never been a stranger to whispers about secret kids and hidden flings. And now, those old skeletons are rattling louder than ever. Long before Titan's name hit the rumor mill, there was the saga of Ramir, a young man who spent years in court claiming Jay-Z was his biological father. That case dragged on through endless appeals, with Ramir accusing Jay of pulling every legal trick in the book to block him. He even claimed Jay used money and power to stonewall him at every turn. Now, with Titan's name in the mix, people are putting the pieces together, and suddenly the past scandals don't look so far-fetched anymore. Back then, a lot of people brushed it off as pure opportunism, but now, in the middle of the Titan storm, those old headlines are back in heavy circulation. And suddenly, they're stitched into a bigger narrative. That Jay-Z's empire wasn't just built on music genius and business power moves, but on his to bury personal scandals before they ever saw the light of day. And Ramir's fight isn't the only cloud haunting Jay's past. Old allegations from the late 90s and early 2000s are once again under the spotlight. The most explosive? The whispers tying him to younger women in the industry. Rumors so strong that even Knowles fanned the flames in his infamous diss track, spitting bars that hinted Jay crossed lines with protégés like Foxy Brown.
You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
Now, Foxy has denied those claims multiple times, calling them lies, but the whispers never fully disappeared, and fans can't ignore the optics. Back then, Jay-Z, already pushing 30, was constantly linked to teenage artists. At the time, people excused it as mentor vibes, but today, when stacked against the Titan scandal, the whole picture feels way more unsettling. And that leaves one heavy question echoing across every corner of social media. Is this all part of a long-running pattern of control, secrecy, and manipulation that the industry let slide because Jay-Z was simply too powerful to challenge? The uncomfortable truth is, his trust with the public has already been shaky for years, and now it's cracking wide open. Jay-Z's own lyrics already gave us confessions of cheating, moments where he admitted he nearly lost Beyoncé for good. That saga played out through Lemonade and 444, sold as a redemption arc. A man who faced his demons and a woman strong enough to forgive. But if Titan really is his son, that whole redemption story collapses instantly. Because then it's not about growth at all. It's about concealment. Now fans are starting to believe Jay-Z's pattern isn't learning from mistakes. It's mastering the art of burying them until the news cycle moves on. And with every old rumor coming back to life, the cracks in his king-like image are splitting wider and deeper, which leads straight to Beyoncé's family, because when the silence is this loud, someone's usually pulling strings to hold the pieces together. Enter Tina Knowles. She's always been framed as the matriarch, not just of Beyoncé's world, but of Destiny's Child itself. She's publicly called Kelly her daughter, written glowing tributes, and painted herself as the glue that held this surrogate family together. But now, in the shadow of the Titan scandal, fans are looking at Tina's role with a brand new suspicion. Did she know more than she ever let slip? Was her instinct to protect Beyoncé's empire so fierce that she shielded Jay-Z from exposure, while quietly forcing Kelly into silence? Because if that's true, it wouldn't be the first time a powerful matriarch worked behind the scenes, orchestrating a cover-up with a smile, all in the name of protecting the throne. Now, every polished family photo, every glowing tribute suddenly looks different, like possible camouflage for something way darker. Fans are asking if Tina has been the quiet architect of the Carter-Knowles dynasty all along, not just shaping Beyoncé's career, but burying inconvenient truths that could have blown the empire apart. We've all watched Tina step up countless times, fiercely defending Beyoncé against critics and showering Jay-Z with glowing praise that painted him as untouchable. For years, people saw that loyalty as pure love. But now, fans are calling it strategy. Because if Tina really knew about Titan's rumored secret, then protecting the family brand would require one thing only: silence. Total silence. And for Beyoncé, being blindsided by her husband is already unthinkable, but imagining her own mother complicit, that flips this from a marital betrayal into a generational scandal. It would mean the entire Carter-Knowles dynasty has been sitting on a truth too explosive for the world to handle. And while that theory brews, Jay-Z's name is getting dragged into even bigger circles of suspicion. His long-standing connection with Sean Diddy Combs is under fresh scrutiny, especially as Diddy faces wave after wave of lawsuits. Every time new allegations hit Diddy, Jay's name somehow lingers nearby. Sometimes it's mentioned in filings, sometimes it vanishes before the story goes further. But either way, people are noticing, and the whispers are getting louder. Fans can't ignore the pattern anymore. Jay-Z always seems to be standing right at the edge of chaos. Close enough to raise eyebrows, but never fully dragged into the fire. Whether that's sharp legal maneuvering, industry pull, or straight-up influence, the result is always the same. His empire stays spotless, his reputation survives, and eventually, the whispers fade away. But not this time. The Titan rumor refuses to die, and now it's forcing people to connect the dots, pulling together decades of scandals, headlines, and half-buried stories that suddenly don't look so separate anymore. The real question isn't just whether Titan is Jay-Z's son, it's whether this entire mess exposes a blueprint he's used for years to dodge consequences again and again. And while Jay's strategy seems to be slipping through cracks, Beyoncé has always played a different game. Her weapon of choice? Silence. She doesn't do messy interviews, she doesn't rant online, and she rarely explains herself outright. Instead, she uses her art like a diary, layering albums with coded messages her fans spend months dissecting. Lemonade was her response to infidelity. No names, no interviews, just lyrics and visuals that spoke volumes. So now the burning question is this: will Beyoncé address Titan in her next project? Will we get cryptic lyrics about betrayal, motherhood, and broken sisterhood? Hidden visuals that only the Hive can decode? Or will she double down on silence, refusing to validate the scandal with even a single word? If history tells us anything, Beyoncé won't grab a mic and spill her heart. She'll drip-feed symbolism, leaving the world to decode her pain piece by piece. And this time, the stakes couldn't be higher. Her empire was never just about the music, it was about the image. She's the flawless queen, the untouchable star, the woman who turned betrayal into art and came out stronger every single time. She's also the sister who lifted Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams right alongside her. But if Titan really is Jay-Z's son, that mythology shatters. Suddenly, Beyoncé isn't the woman in control. She's the woman betrayed. Betrayed not just by her husband, but possibly by her best friend, and maybe even her own mother. And when an empire is built on perfection, repairing the illusion might be harder than saving the marriage itself. Fans are already convinced. If Beyoncé responds, it won't just be music, it'll be an earthquake. Picture a visual album dripping in cryptic clues, a single cutting lyric slipped into a performance, or an icy shift in how she moves beside Jay-Z in public. Because when Lemonade dropped, it wasn't just tracks, it was a cultural moment. It gave us catchphrases, memes, and a movement that had women across the globe rethinking their own relationships. Now imagine that same energy aimed at Betrayal inside her own family circle. The cultural explosion would be unmatched, shaking not just the music world, but the entire idea of celebrity loyalty and carefully staged perfection. And right now, we're left staring at a storm of speculation, unanswered questions, and a dynasty that suddenly looks shaky on its golden throne. If Titan's paternity really does tie back to Jay-Z, then the Carter-Knowles empire is staring down its biggest test yet. Could Beyoncé ever forgive a betrayal this deep, or is this the scandal that finally cracks her empire wide open? Could Destiny's Child still be remembered as the unbreakable sisterhood we all thought it was? Or has that entire image been shattered forever? And maybe the most chilling question of all, how long has this secret been sitting right in front of us, hiding in plain sight? If it really was buried, then who helped bury it? Was it silence as strategy? Or betrayal from the inside? These are the questions shaking the internet right now and fueling a frenzy that just won't die down. So we've got to ask you, do you think this is the scandal that finally cracks Beyoncé's empire wide open? Or is it just another rumor the machine will bury with silence and spectacle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to know what you think. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and smash that subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because trust me, this story, it's only getting messier from here. See you in the next one.